Hello and welcome to Vital Readings. I'm Theodore MUVUNYI. I'm your host. Today I'm not going to be taking much of your time. I just have a very short something I would like to share with you. You know, a lot of people are always looking for inspiration, and today I thought of sharing with you one of the greatest quotes that inspire me. It's a quote that was written by, it was actually part of a speech. It's a speech that was delivered by the 26th President of the United States. He was called Theodore Roosevelt. He was the youngest president in the US history. From that time up to now, he's still the youngest president in the US history. He was the 26th president. He led the US from 1901 to 1909. And he said these words when he was giving a speech that at first was called Citizenship in a Republic, but then after it was very popular, it was named The Man in the Arena. So I'm going to read the words, and I'm going to read the words first, and then I'll go back to try to explain to them and what they mean to me personally. So he writes and says, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worth cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." So the reason why this quote makes too much sense to me, he talks about how there is always two actors in the world. And you actually, if you observe what happens in the world, you always realize that there are two actors in the world. There are those who go into the arena, who go to do the deeds, who go to do the things, who allow themselves to have their hands dirty, who try their best to achieve great achievements. And there are also those who stand on the side, who are always criticizing, who are always looking at how people have failed. Let's say, for example, when it comes to football, I think it's one of the vivid examples. There's always the players who are playing in the field, and there are those who are watching the match. And many times, those who do not even know how to kick a ball would always be criticizing those who are in the pitch, who are not being able to kick the ball the way that the fans thought the people should be kicking the ball. But that's not in the football arena or in the football pitch. It's also in everyday life. Recently, I was writing an article. It's an article that I wrote on my blog last year, and I talked about how the fathers of the nation, the fathers of the African nations, those who fought for independence, I'm talking about the generation of the Kwame Nkrumahs and all those, have come, and we of course criticize them today. And then there came liberation fighters. I'm talking about the president of Uganda, Museveni, president of Rwanda, President Paul Kagame, and all those others, and we criticize them today. But most of the times, those who will be criticizing them are people who have not even taken any step to help their nations, are people who have, if you look in their history, they have nothing to show for the love of the nation, that they always criticize others for having done their best. So I love the words of this president because they make so much sense to me. And I'm going to be repeating every statement. I'm going to be trying to tell you how it makes sense to me. He says, "It's not the critic who counts. It's not the person who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. It's not the person that stands on the side and can't get himself into the arena and do something, and stands on the side and criticizes. It's not that guy that actually counts." And he says, who should we give the credit? He says, the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. You could criticize them all you want for not achieving what you think they should have achieved, but you have no idea what they have you have no idea how many obstacles they have to maneuver through for them to get to what you thought they should be achieving. So he says the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who knows what it feels to be in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, and who is sweating, and who has shed blood, who strives valiantly, who errs. You could be surprised and say, why would you say that credit belongs to a man who is making errors and who is actually, who's having shortcomings? But he says, it's because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But if you're not doing anything, you'll have nothing to be criticized for. If you are not doing anything, you'll not make any mistakes. If you're just home sleeping, actually, I think it's the biggest mistake to be there not doing anything. But many times, people will not find something to criticize you for if you're not doing anything. So whoever is working, whoever is making efforts will fail and will make mistakes. But when they make mistakes, they make mistakes because they're actually striving to do the deeds. They are in the arena, they are trying to do something. They know the great enthusiasm. They know how it feels to have great enthusiasm. They know how to devote themselves to something. If you have never devoted yourself to anything, it's an experience that you are missing out. It's something you will never understand. If you have never committed yourself to something, maybe that's why you have failed at nothing. Until you commit yourself to something, it's when you're going to fail at something. But if you don't commit yourself to anything, then you're not going to fail at anything. And I don't think that you should take credit that you have failed at nothing. So if you think you have failed at nothing, I think you need to ask yourself once again, have you really failed at nothing? Is it because you tried something and everything you have tried to do has been successful? Or have you actually not committed to anything and that's why you have failed at nothing? So he goes on to say that the person who deserves the credit is the person who's spending himself in a worth cause. Because two things will happen to such a person. At best, they will know the triumph of achievement. They will know how it feels to win if they succeed. They will know how it feels to win. But if they fail, at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while dwelling greatly. If the person failed, at least they failed trying to do something with their lives. So if a person fails, at least he failed daring greatly. And his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know the victory or triumph. No, I mean the victory or defeat. The cold and timid souls who don't do anything, who do not try to achieve anything. They don't know nothing. They don't know how it feels to be defeated, and they do not know how it feels to have victory. But if you try your level best to get to do something, at least if you don't know how it feels to succeed, you'll know how it feels to fail. So, having said that, if you enjoyed this quote, if it in any way inspires you or motivates you, I would like to ask you to subscribe to our channel, to share this video with everybody. So, see you at the top. Have a great time.